Good morning on this wonderfully chilly, especially chilly winter day. It's 9 a.m. on a Sunday. You know that means it's time for Lisa's Changing Perceptions with your host, Lisa Eflin. And today, Lisa has a very special guest who we'll let her introduce in just a moment. But first, a reminder and a huge thank you to the Bremer team, Keller Williams North Shore West, for supporting Lisa's Changing Perceptions. The Bremer team, Keller Williams North Shore West, they bring families home for all your real estate needs. 847-456-6334 or reach them at bremerteam.com. Lisa, good morning. Why don't you introduce yourself and your guest today?
Changing Perceptions. I am a hypnotherapist and self-empowerment coach, and I also do EFT, and I am almost finished, 2/3 of the way finished. Don't want to overshoot it. My neuro-linguistic programming practitioner's certification. So I work with a bunch of different things here, and you'll see them on the air. Today I have Lori. Lori is the owner of Stardust Animal Sanctuary. You guys have heard me bring it up on the air, which you probably don't even know, but I brought it up on the air before. And she came in today because she has something that she's been struggling with, and she's worked with me before, so she was willing to come in and talk to me on the air with it. And I think it's something that applies to a large number of people who struggle with it. So we're going to deal with that today. But this is Lori, and she owns Stardust Animal Sanctuary, and it's in Richmond, Illinois, and it does beautiful things. And if you want to give a real quick synopsis of what your organization does so that people are aware of it.
We are a small organization, and we rescue animals from unjust situations such as farm animals, horses, dogs, cats. Most of these animals are unadoptable due to medical and emotional issues, or sometimes people just haven't done their research and then have gotten the animal and couldn't keep it. So we are their lifetime caregivers.
And if they wanted to see your sanctuary or donate to your sanctuary, how would they reach you?
Our website is www.stardustanimalsanctuary.org, and they can reach out to us there. They could leave us an email, and they can come out on the weekends. We have visitations by appointments.
Because I have to say, I've been there. I went to experience it, and I thought I was going to Oogle the horses. Like, that was my thing when I went, because there's several horses. And I have to say, I fell in love with the goose.
Oh, wow, sweetheart.
So tell them about the goose, because I don't want to say it's my favorite, but it's kind of my favorite.
Sweetheart, and he loves women. He is 17 years old, and he was actually at a private home, and he was going after the woman's husband, being protective of the woman. And so she needed to rehome him, and we fortunately had a space for him. So
he's wonderful. I have to say, I walked up and I thought, oh, look at a goose. And I never expected that he would come up and nuzzle me and want petted. Yeah. He's a love.
He is.
So she does the animals that, like she said, people didn't do any research on, or have medical, emotional issues. She homes them for life and does whatever it is that they need for medical care. And there's a whole genre of animals there that I got to meet. Including 2 boars, which I wasn't expecting.
Yes.
But even they were funny when they saw me with peppermints. They were very excited when they saw me. I had brought peppermints. So anyway, just wanted to introduce Lori and throw out a plug for Stardust. If you're looking for somewhere to donate, if you're looking for somewhere to do some good deeds, if you'd like to contribute and get some exercise and help out around there, get a hold of Lori. I'm sure that there's never a time that extra help isn't needed.
We welcome everyone. Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead, Pete.
Sandy Gibson says good morning.
Yep.
And of course, Donna Baker Leckman says good morning as well.
Good morning, everybody. So real quick, before I get started with this, is you can reach me at 262-573-7055. You can reach me at lisaschangingperceptions.com or lisaschangingperceptions@gmail, or of course on Facebook. And you can always send a message through 216thenet.com, and Pete will make sure that I get that message there. If there's questions you have that you'd like answered on the air, I don't have to use your name, but I do like to know what people are wondering about or what people would like to ask. If you would like to be on, I'd like to start a monthly question and answer show like we did last week, where you can actually click and link in and be in live. and ask me questions on the air. If you would like to be a part of that, let me know. That's something I'd really like to get going. Just so you know, I deal with anxiety, sleep disorders, pain management, grief, depression, um, inner child, past life. The list goes on and on. So if you're kind of looking for something outside the box that maybe other things haven't worked in the past for you and you'd like to test something outside the box, please feel free to give me a call. I can do it remotely. You do not have to live in the McHenry area. I do have an office here in McHenry, but you do not have to live in the McHenry area. I can work remotely thanks to technology now. So let me know. So we're going to get started today. Lori I don't know the details of the issue that Lori came in to talk about today, being the brave soul that she is. I love the people who are willing to be my guinea pigs on the air. But I do know the basics of it. And that's why I titled the topic today, When My Best Just Wasn't Good Enough.
Oh.
So I think that's something that a lot of people kind of deal with. So just so that you guys know, I am totally off the cuff here. I don't know what technique I'm going to use. I don't know what I'm going to run into. Nothing. She gave me a very general thing and we're going to just go with it. So I would, excuse me, usually I kind of know ahead of time what I'm dealing with. And I did it this way so that people could see how it really works in real life. Like, I don't know when somebody comes in. I usually have a very general synopsis and then we kind of go from there. And all the techniques change because I have people call up and say, well, what will you do while I'm in the office? Well, I don't know until I talk to you because it's not cookie cutter. It's meant to be individualized for each individual person and situation. I don't do cookie cutter. I don't even do scripts. A lot of people do scripts with what I do, and I don't do scripts because I'm an intuitive. I tend to follow what comes through to do. So, Lori, just talk to me. I know you're nervous. I know you're shy. So just we're in my office. You've been in my office before. So just talk to me. What's going on?
We have a lot of worry at the sanctuary, especially during the weather like it is. So on top of that, there's just one thing that just keeps coming back to me. And I think with sanctuaries and with life in general, we go through loss or asking ourselves, just like you said, did I do enough? Was was it good enough? My try, was it good enough? And so we just took in October a baby lamb that a family brought. I hope I don't start crying.
I cry on the air all the time. Don't worry about it. I cry on the air all the time.
So she was going to go to slaughter, and we do have animals at the sanctuary that we save from slaughter. So she was a baby lamb, and she was taken away from her mom. So she didn't have the formula. She did not have the startup that she was from her mom. So she came to us, and she had been stepped on quite a few times. So a beautiful family brought her in, and she was mangled. And so we took her to one university, and just a bright soul. And they said that she wasn't going to last, and that we should just let her go. And then I was going to take her for a second opinion, and she passed away on our way up to the next university.
Okay.
And so I just feel like I didn't go fast enough with her.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So you didn't do enough?
Didn't do enough.
And what is that bringing up to you? Like, what feelings does that bring up for you?
A lot of guilt,
Guilt how? Explain to me what you feel guilty about.
That I just felt I did something wrong. Like I should have done. It's like hindsight is 20/20. She was doing so well, and I just thought, let her settle in and get her stomach working, because I kept getting pulled to that something was going on with her stomach. We were going to have her rear legs amputated because they were so mangled. And in my heart, I kept thinking, if I amputate the rear legs and the stomach is not working, is she still going to be okay? So it's just a second guessing myself. And I think I kept going from my head to my heart.
Are you sorry you took her in?
Am I sorry I took her into the vet to begin with?
No, into your organization.
Oh my gosh, no.
Why aren't you sorry you took her in? It turned out to be so tragic.
Because we don't turn our back on anyone.
Okay, what would have happened if you didn't take her in?
She was going to stay at the farm until they needed her for slaughter, which she was only a baby.
What would that have been like for her?
Horrific.
What's horrific? Explain to me in detail what that would have been like.
Well, I don't know what happens at a slaughterhouse, but it's very torturous, and she was just a baby, only 4 months old. So just the fright of not being with her mom to begin with, and then getting put in a slaughter truck and being smushed with all these other animals that are just extremely frightened beyond. And it just seems like I just feel like it's an abusive situation, and I just believe in kindness to all.
So you took her in and so by taking her in, she didn't have to go through that.
Right.
Okay. So you took her in and saved her from that? I mean, is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Like, because you didn't want her to go through that?
The farmer surrendered her to this family, and they brought her to us.
Okay. And when you took her in, what kind of offering did you give her?
Well, I brought her into the house because she was so small, and it was still like at 30 degrees at nighttime.
Okay.
And so she just had a lot of nurturing. We were researching.
Nurturing. Explain nurturing in detail.
A lot of people came out and started loving on her, and she loved them. And we got a lot of supplements and researched her diet and just tried to do everything to get her to be stronger so that she could make it through a surgery of getting her double leg amputation.
And what if you had brought her in and didn't do those things for her?
She would have died.
Okay. Did she seem to acknowledge that she was being loved on? Did you feel that?
Yes.
Did you?
She smiled a lot.
Did she?
Totally.
Like, I've seen dogs do that too. So she smiled.
Totally
She smiled like the dogs do. That's terrific. So if she wouldn't have come to you, she would have been in a slaughterhouse.
Yes.
Right. And she wouldn't have gotten any of that individual attention.
No.
She might have even starved. I don't know, because the other animals probably taken things even if she could eat. Would that be right?
I don't even know if they feed them. I haven't looked further enough into it.
Okay.
But
this family took her and then brought her to you.
Yes.
And then when you got her, I'm just making sure I understood what you explained so that I know where I'm going with this. So when you got her, she got brought into a warm house and a bunch of people loved on her.
Yes.
Oh, and you even saw her smile.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. She lasted 11 days with us.
She did. So
Good
she
morning,
had
Darren.
11 days of love and nurture.
Yes.
Oh. That she wouldn't have had you not taken her in?
No.
Oh, okay. So what should you have done that you didn't do?
I feel I should have taken her for the second opinion sooner. I took her for the first opinion the next day. And then I waited because she
How
was
long
just,
did you wait?
I think it was about a week.
Okay.
And she was just
What was
thriving at our farm. She was just walking on her own and
So during the week that you waited, she was thriving?
thriving.
And
Yes.
she was walking on her own?
Right.
So what was your indication that you should have taken her for the second opinion during that week that you ignored?
I think because she was thriving, I should have taken her while she was thriving. And I just thought this was
But during that week that she was there, what were you ignoring that you should have done? What were you just flat out ignoring that was in front of you that you should have ignored? You shouldn't have ignored?
I don't believe I was ignoring anything.
Oh. Then how were you to know that you should have gone sooner?
Because I don't know. I think that sometimes she would eat and then just lay down. And I was just getting a feeling. I kept getting a feeling that her stomach wasn't feeling well. But she still was eating and
Did
drinking.
you know for a fact her stomach wasn't feeling well?
No, because the
okay.
first university said that she had great gut sounds and ruminating was great. But
So the experts that you took her to for the opinion didn't notice that her stomach wasn't doing well?
No.
But you should have?
Yes.
So tell me why you should have. Tell me where your expertise is that you should have done that.
I think because I think I was hearing two things. Like she's doing well and she's going to get stronger. And then my second thing was, well, while she's strong like this, maybe I should take her in for the second opinion. And I just feel bad.
So you should have known more than the experts that you took her and paid her to look at her?
Yes.
Yeah, you should have. How come you should have?
Because I just feel that I was around her almost 24/7. I worked too.
Right.
And I just kind of saw some ups and downs with her. And you just think, okay, well, they're just having a little bad moment. And she came from a horrific situation. I mean, her whole body.
Did you cause that situation? Were you involved in that?
No,
You didn't?
They said every spine was broken, like every vertebrae in her body was broken. It was amazing that she was walking on all 4 feet. And
why do you think she was walking on all 4 feet? What do you think caused that?
I think it was the love, really. I think she was in a love bubble.
That she wouldn't have had you not taken her in?
No.
And then, so for a week, she was really thriving.
Totally.
She was. And you said, why did you say you thought she was thriving? What made her thrive?
I think because of the love, the nutrition, the atmosphere.
But while she was getting the love and the nutrition and the atmosphere, you were neglecting her needs.
I wasn't neglecting, but I felt like I should have, like when she was thriving like that, I should have taken her to the other university, and maybe they would have saw something. Like
maybe they would have. You don't know for sure that they would have.
No.
So you don't know that the second university would have seen anything different than the first university saw.
Right.
Right. So you don't know that.
No.
So I'm just making sure that I understand. So the only thing you know for sure is during the last week of her life when she was with you, she felt love and she thrived.
Totally.
She did. Huh. But what should you have done when the second so the second university, we don't know if they would see anything different than the first university.
I sent them all the paperwork and they were willing to see her. So
right. They were willing to, but the first university was willing to see him too.
Right.
But what they saw was what you went by. They're the experts, right? So do we know that the second university would have seen anything different?
I don't know. I think with their stomachs, they're so sensitive and at that age, and then she didn't have her mother to nurse off of, so she was coming in very, very malnutrition.
And you should have done more because
I think I should have taken her I think for my peace of mind, I should have taken her to the university, the second one, sooner.
Okay. And as you say that, I want you to repeat that to me, and I want you to tell me what picture is coming to your head. What thing is popping into your mind as you say that to me?
I should have taken her to the university for the second opinion.
And what memory, what thought, what person, what voice, what thing is coming into your head as you say that? That's telling you that.
I'm hearing that I didn't do enough.
By who? Who's telling you that?
It's probably very past, like when I was a child.
Okay.
I don't know. It was probably one of my parents.
Okay. Any voice specifically that you can hear, or any sound or anything that reminds you of what that is? It's okay. You do great.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
It's okay. I'm just trying to make sure I got the whole picture, because
okay.
I want to make sure that I really understand what's kind of going on. I guess I'm confused because what I'm hearing is I took in this animal off of a slaughter truck that was totally mangled and abused and in pain. And I took it immediately to experts to tell me how to help it, which I'm assuming was kind of expensive too.
Yes.
Was there expense involved in that? Okay. And it's like, I worked in animal medicine for 20 years. Okay. So I know from 20 years of experience that most people would have looked at that situation and said, just put them down.
Right.
And so that animal would have never known anything besides what it went through and death.
Right.
But what I'm hearing is that you took it in and then you took it to some experts, and the experts gave you advice, and you followed that advice because, well, that's what you paid them for, right? I'm assuming they weren't just good looking.
Right.
They didn't want to just hand them money. Okay. I just want to make sure because, it could have been Keanu. So whenever it could be Keanu, we got to make sure. So then for a week, you gave it so much love that it even smiled and it stood and it flourished and it got nutrition, and it ended up passing away. Right. Good Lord decided, it was time to come. And so it went from the scenario of mangled in a truck and pain and malnourished to, and more than likely end of life, right? To loved on, smiling, knowing love. And although it was for a short period of time, too short for your heart, okay, right. Too short for your eyes, it went from that to passing away loved.
Right.
I'm missing the picture.
Yes.
On where you didn't do enough.
But
I'm wishing, I guess I'm trying to figure out like where it wasn't enough, because you know what? I'm just telling you that if I get mangled and they, Pete throws me in a freezer somewhere and just says, whatever, she's going to go anyway. And somebody comes and gets me and loves me and feeds me peanut butter chocolate ice cream, and I pass away anyway, I'm really freaking happy that I passed away, loved eating peanut butter chocolate ice cream.
Sorry about the freezer thing.
So I'm confused. So I'm just trying to place it all into perspective here. Because I know. And then the other thing is, and I'm a widow, so I kind of get the whole regret thing, because just so that you know, my husband passed away from a doctor's mistake. Yes, he had cancer, but he actually passed away way sooner because the doctor misread blood work.
Wow.
So I get the whole, and I was screaming in the emergency room that they had misread that blood work.
Wow.
And then he ended up passing away 2 weeks later. And I forever was like, oh my God, if I had screamed one more time.
Gosh.
So I guess from the perspective, you're actually teaching me today. So I guess it is my fault because I should have yelled one more time.
No.
I should have. I should have yelled at those emergency room doctors.
No.
Yeah, I should have screamed louder.
No.
So, because if I would have screamed louder, he wouldn't have passed away because maybe somebody would have heard me and read the blood work.
Oh.
So his passing is my fault and I should have done more?
No.
Okay, then I'm so confused. Explain to me how that's different.
Well, you just taught me something right now.
Did I? What's that? Because
Well,
you're teaching me. So what do you teach? What I teach you?
that my regret is inward to me from something in the past, and I did everything that I could for her. Even when she first came to the farm, I heard a voice, and I don't know if it was coming from my heart or from the universe, that she was not going to be with you long. But I thought maybe she was not going to be with me long and go to another sanctuary. So so when I took her to the first appointment, and then they said there was no hope for her, and we brought her back and she was just thriving, that's when we thought, oh my gosh, there is hope for her and she's walking, that this is doable. And we sent it out to the other university, and they're like, yeah, bring her in, this is doable. But for me, I held back because she was doing so great and having such a good time at the farm that I was like, let's just give her a week to get stronger before she goes in and get all this love that she can get in before she goes in.
Understood. I get it. And then she was in pretty poor condition, right?
Totally.
So if I was in poor condition and my outlook wasn't great and I had the choice to go to a hospital and get a bunch of tests or be around a bunch of people who love me, I don't know. I guess I'm not a lamb.
Right.
But I would want to be around a bunch of people who loved me when I
well, thank
when I
you
left.
for saying that, because that's what I felt.
Yeah.
I think
That's what I would want. So then I have another question. Like, when you saw her and you were with her and you were nurturing her and taking care of her, did you feel her love you back?
Totally.
Oh,
I mean,
that makes me want to
everyone.
cry. I can feel it. I can feel my energy rising. Like, I can feel the energy of that. So my husband loved me, just in case anybody was curious. So now where he is, totally at peace, because I know your belief
Yes.
system, so you kind of have the same belief system with me. Like, there's a peaceful place there, and you also know that I can still see him, and he's still a pain in my ass. Right? Okay. So, do you think he's up there saying, "I hope that she suffers the rest of her life for not yelling one more time"?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Do you think, as he looks back on what he offered to the world, to me, to my children, as their father, as my husband, and as loving us, that he wants his legacy to be, bitch didn't yell one more time,
No.
or I wish she knew I loved her too?
Yes.
I wonder if lambs have spirits like people. Do you think animals have spirits?
Yes.
So for the short period of time, I'm going to cry now, because I can feel you wanting to cry. So that's the empath thing. For the short period of time that it was here, it received love that it wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But it also offered love that it didn't know how before you. I wonder what it would want you to remember.
That love is so precious, and she's so precious, just like all of them are so precious.
Do you think she has gratitude for what you've offered her? Do you
Yes.
think she has gratitude that she passed in love?
Yes.
So do you think she would like her legacy to be you knowing the gratitude she had for what you offer her, or the misery of your regret?
The gratitude,
Really? What makes you feel that way?
because I could feel her smiling, and that's what she wants me to do.
Okay, you can feel that. I can feel that. That's why I'm trying not to cry, because I cry in the air all the time. But I need to be able to talk without snot running down my face. So I'm trying to kind of keep it cool, but I can feel it because of the empath thing. Okay, so what should you have done different again?
Nothing.
What could you have done different?
I could have taken her to the university, but we could have lost her anyway. And
And then
she
what would her
have
ending have been?
Well, along with people she didn't know.
Oh, ooh. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't like that.
I mean, she did love the farm and loved just eating grass, and she was just so
How could she have loved that?
gentle.
She never had it before you.
Well, she loved it there for those days.
She did?
She did.
Wow. And she wouldn't have had that if you wouldn't have taken her in?
No.
What would her ending have been like again?
Going into a slaughterhouse, or they were hoping that she was just going to die at the farm that she was at.
So what didn't you offer her?
We offered her sunlight and love and nurturement, warmth.
That must suck.
Great food.
Oh, how shitty of you. Oh, how shitty of you.
I think just sometimes when we lose animals at the sanctuary, and maybe in life when people lose somebody, maybe our first thing to go to as part of the grief is, what could I have done more?
Right.
You know, what didn't I do?
Mm-hmm.
What didn't I see?
And as you're saying that to me, what are you hearing in your head?
It's pretty blank. Like, you know, it's almost like checking off the boxes.
What voice do you hear in your head as you're saying that to me?
You did everything. The one time that I saw her slipping, I was at work and I heard that she was starting to slip and came running home and then tried to get her to the next university. And we lost her in the car, but she passed very peacefully.
With people around her that she loved?
Totally.
Wow. Sure the hell hope that doesn't happen to me. What a shitty way to go. Surrounded by people you love who care about whether you pass or not, and that you made a difference in their life and they made a difference in yours. What a shitty thing to do. I can't believe you're not beating yourself up more. Seems weird, doesn't it?
Yes. It seems clear and calm now. Like, I think I feel like I checked all the boxes.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
And I can tell you that there are a lot of people who are feeling like you've checked off every box you could. Sandy Gibson said that you gave her the best life that you could while she was here. You did everything right. And Alexandria Peters said she's more angry with the supposed experts. This is taking on guilt because of the bond that you formed, that the two of you and the lamb formed there, that you formed. And then Donna Baker Leckman says you did everything right. What we all want is the feeling of being loved and cared for, and you offered all of that and so much more. So everybody is hearing that you did all you could possibly have done for that little lamb. And so I think with that, and what you've described to Lisa and what I've sat back here and heard, is that if it were me, I'd be feeling quite happy because I did what I could possibly have done, which is what you did. You did what you could possibly have done, and you made whatever last few days and whatever last few moments filled with something that lamb didn't even know was possible to have existed.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Thank you very much.
Is there somebody who could have done it better?
Well, we're a new sanctuary, so I don't feel like we're an expert at this, but
So who could have done it better? Give me an example of who could have done it better.
I don't know.
Who could have cared more?
I probably would have researched sanctuaries that take in special needs animals, but she might have the same outcome could have happened too. They're just so.
And that would have taken
Good
some
morning,
time.
Denise. Thank you for
She would
tuning
have
in.
transferred to new people again.
Right.
And you didn't do enough. How many animals is your sanctuary taking in?
50.
Okay. Do you spend a lot of time working the sanctuary?
About 17 hours a day, plus working.
That's you personally, right?
Yes.
And you're also a massage therapist. Do I remember that right?
Yes.
Okay. So 17 hours a day plus you're a massage therapist. When you work the sanctuary 17 hours a day, are you tired?
Well, I'm in and out working. Yes, I do get tired,
You're
but
tired?
it's a labor of love.
Even when you're tired, do all those animals get all their medicines that they need? I know you got several dogs in the house that need a lot of special needs.
Totally.
Things, yeah. Who could have done it better?
Well,
Whose heart isn't it more? Because you said the heart's the love, right?
right.
And our hearts are love, and you put in 17 hours a day and you do massage as well. So give me the examples of all the people who do all that to save these animals, because I guess I need more examples.
Well, there's so many sanctuaries that do the same thing, and I think when I'm speaking for myself, but I
Right, that's all we're
think,
talking about is you.
and I think sometimes with other sanctuaries, they go through the laws too. I think it's
Right.
the first.
No, I get the sanctuary thing, but I'm gonna go back to you.
Okay.
You as a human, okay?
Yeah.
You as a spirit and a human body here on the planet, making choices and following passions and doing your best to survive. Put in 17 hours a day, plus do massage therapy. And even when you're exhausted, none of these animals ever miss their medicine. I even noticed on your Facebook feed that you brought all the chickens and ducks and stuff into the house in the cages, right? Because it was too cold.
Yeah.
It was too cold for them. So that was a lot of extra work too. That's not something you normally do.
No.
Right. So that's your passion. That's your drive. Do you have a lot of personal life?
Well, I caregive for seniors, for people.
Oh,
seniors too.
On top of the 17 hours? Oh my gosh. Okay. You're evil. I can totally see why you're slacking. And you should really do more for the world. I can see where that comes from. Because, yeah, you're just a complete slacker. I can't even believe that I brought you into the studio with all the horribleness about you. So do you have much personal life? When's the last time you got to go out on girlfriend's wine night or get dressed up and go have a few drinks and play cards or go to the movies when's the last time you got to do that?
I can't remember, but I did watch a movie, like a DVD the other day. So
oh my gosh.
A romantic comedy.
I can't even believe it. You took time out.
Yeah, it was really, it's
But
awesome.
what if those animals needed you? You dared watch a DVD?
Yes.
Oh my God. Can't even believe it.
I did it during the downtime. Okay. When everybody was put to bed. And yeah, it was
awesome.
everybody
was taken care of first and then you watched the DVD?
Yes.
Did you stay awake for the whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, well, bless your heart, because I can't stay awake for a whole DVD on a normal day.
Oh
okay, so you had alone after all that work. So what should you have done more?
I did my best. And I feel a lot of peace for it now. I didn't when I first came in here. I mean, it was more raw when it first happened in October, but every once in a while I bring it up to myself and I say, woulda, shoulda, coulda,
Does that happen every time an animal passes?
Yes.
Okay. And the animals that you bring into the sanctuary are only animals that come from really pretty bad circumstances.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Most of them, people hadn't been very nice to them.
No.
If I remember the boars, because that was the weird one for me, but I loved feeding them peppermints. Somebody had just gotten them as pets and then dumped them out in the woods. Is that what I heard?
They were in Indiana in a forest preserve. So
just threw them on the cold.
Yep. In February, and animal control brought them up to us.
Okay. What would have happened if animal control hadn't found them and brought them to you?
I'm sure they would have froze or been eaten.
And what would have happened if you had said no to animal control?
They would have probably put them down.
Oh. What about the horses? Do you have any horses with any stories?
We have 9 horses. They all have different stories, a lot of medical issues, trust issues, but mostly...
Why would they have trust issues? Why does a horse get trust issues?
I believe because of the situation that they came from. And
what kind of situations? Could you give me just even one example so that I understand?
Teddy is, he was a stallion at a farm with many horses. He was from another rescue, actually. He saw 32 other horses just die in front of him. They starved to death. And a stallion is just pretty much in a cage their whole life. And at least he was. I can't speak for all of them, but no sunlight, no human contact, and just used for breeding.
And how did you get him?
We got him through another rescue. They were having a hard time working with his personality.
Oh. So what would have happened if you hadn't taken him in?
He probably wouldn't have been here.
Because
he would have been put down.
Oh, they would have put him down.
Yeah.
And what's he like at the sanctuary?
He's a teddy bear now. It took us a while to have him earn our trust or us earn his trust.
Why'd you bother? There's other horses out there. Why bother with Teddy?
Because it's a calling, I guess. We just don't turn our back. It's like, there's something inside of him that needs to be heard.
inside of Teddy that needs to be heard.
And all of them.
And
Yeah.
so he had a spirit that was worth it and a life that was worth it.
Totally.
So you took him in.
Yes.
And now what does he do? What's he like? What's his personality like now?
He loves just about everybody. He's very personable.
He is. Does he
Yes.
visit with people?
Yes.
Does he like it when they scratch his nose and pet him
Yeah.
and bring him?
He
I know
loves
I brought
it.
him all carrots. That was my thing, is I brought him all carrots to you. So does he love it when they do that?
Yeah. He loves taking pictures with everybody.
He does.
He does.
Is he a ham? He likes his picture taken.
Yes.
That's funny. So after the way he came into the world and lived, and then you took him in, now he loves all these things.
Yes.
What a great experience for Teddy.
Totally.
So no matter what happened with Teddy, he got to feel love and people, and he got to see what the world could really be like versus what he had been shown.
Absolutely.
Did those boars maybe have the same? Maybe that's the same thing. Like they got to feel love and
Yes.
care and what. And I know you saved a turkey at Thanksgiving, right? Right. You saved
Two
it.
sisters. We're just
I remember that.
so lucky.
And then the goose. What would have happened to the goose if you hadn't taken it, since it was a booger and only liked women?
I don't know. I think the mom would have kept him and kept him going. Yes.
Yeah. But would it have been a really loving home when the husband hated it?
I believe her home is loving. I think the husband was just worried and afraid about him.
But that you can feel that, right? If you can sense the animal's energy, did the animal sense your energy?
Yes.
And I've met that goose because I love that goose. So now he's got women all over him all the time.
Totally.
Because he literally comes up and nuzzles on you, like demanding that you
and
had
he's
him
got
and love on
beautiful
him.
blue eyes, and he is definitely a ladies' man.
So he's really living the high life.
He is.
Right. He's like who's
And
the
he
Playboy
does like-
Mansion
he
guy?
does like men there too.
Who's the Playboy Mansion guy? Who owned the Playboy Mansion?
Some old dude. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of his name, but he's got the high life. He's got women climbing all over that goose. Got women all over him all the time. He's like living his life. And I met some cows.
Oh yeah.
I met some cows, and one of them liked to just keep licking me. I was laughing. I'm like, oh my god, because it was the weirdest thing. And I loved it. But I met these cows. What's the story on the cows?
Leo was going to actually be veal for someone, and he was a little baby because he was on a dairy farm.
Which one, the brown one or the black one? Is
the
that?
brown one?
Okay,
Is
that's
that
the one that
I was
licks.
licking? Yeah. So he's
That's
from
the one
Vermont.
Yeah.
Denise Maple caught us up on who owned the mansion. It was Hugh Hefner.
Yes, thank you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we should have named the goose Hugh Hefner because he just wants women all over him all the time. So thank you. That's what I needed. So go ahead. So what happened with them? What happened with?
He was on a dairy farm, and on dairy farms, the boys, they can't use them, so they usually get separated from the mom right away, and they don't get to nurse. And then within a few weeks, they go off to slaughter for veal.
Okay.
And the situation is terrible because a lot of them are in the dark. They're tied up very close to a wall or put in a box. And then
Is that what he came from? Is that what?
he came from a farm that.
But that had happened to him. Like that was his life. Before
Well, this little guy got to be with his mom because Jason Balalik, he's a great rescue person of all these cows. He talked to the farmer and said he had a home for him. So
Okay.
Leo did get to be with his mom for a couple
Were you
days.
the home he was talking about that he had for him?
Yes.
Oh. So if you hadn't been the home he was talking about for him, he would have been in the box in the dark?
Yes, unless we networked and got him another home through Jason. So.
Okay. And I know that there's even chickens and goats that have stories, right? Everything is a story. We could probably talk all day long about the stories.
Yeah.
And they all come from kind of these backgrounds that,
Yes.
and did you get rich doing the sanctuary?
No.
Oh, you're not rich from
No.
doing the sanctuary? Do you drive a Mercedes and do you have diamonds? And
No.
I know you were able to afford a DVD because you watched one when you decided to slack.
Well,
You watched one. So, okay. Why do you do it?
it's a love, it's a passion, it's a calling, it's to make
So,
them feel safe.
So all these animals are experiencing all this love and this medical care. And I know they get good food because they really like peppermints and they knew exactly what I was opening, especially the big pig. Safina, is that right?
Seraphina.
Yeah. She was like literally slobbering as I was opening up the peppermint. So this is the life that these animals are leading now. And all of them have a story like that, right?
Totally.
So they're all friendly. And I know that personally because I fed a boar, okay? And it was really happy to see me because it knew I had food. So, and it ate right out of my hand even. So,
wow. They are awesome.
yeah, they are.
Feel
They're
safe.
really, they do. Do you always feel safe?
Yeah.
But you always feel safe when you're out in the world?
Not as a little kid, I didn't, but I do feel safe now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What makes you feel safe?
I don't know. I have a sense of grounding around myself that I feel.
Why do you feel
protected?
That? What brings that feeling on? Tell me what brings that. What makes you feel like that? I want to feel like that all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Tell me how you feel like that. What gives you that feeling?
Of safety.
And grounding.
Oh
yeah, I'm always flying. I'm a Pisces. I'm always up there.
And I'm an Aquarius.
Oh yeah, so you should be up there with me, and you're grounded. How you really got
it's
the
farm and the animals actually.
Oh,
they give so much more to us than we could ever give back to them.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yes.
It sounds like you've given a lot to them. So, what more should you have done?
I'm doing enough.
So anytime an animal passes, is it love or regret you're really feeling?
I feel both.
Regret for what?
Sometimes I go back to I didn't do enough, or
I should have done this sooner. Okay, then we're right back to square one. Like, what's not enough? Love, nutrition, warmth, people, pictures. The horse that likes his picture taken gets his picture taken. The goose is like Hugh Hefner running around getting petted all the time. Boars eat out of your hand, so they're so docile now. So, what life would you want?
I would have wanted the life that I'm giving them.
Would you rather have a shorter life that was like all love and happy and peppermints and people taking your pictures and completely knowing that you're 100% safe all the time and genuinely loved, or a longer period of time that sucked?
The safe and loving time.
Oh, you sure?
Yes.
You sure?
I'm going to jump in. I want to jump in real quick just because I've actually gotten a text from somebody who's having a hard time commenting.
Okay.
And she says, and I know who this is, she says, "Please tell that young lady that I know she has an angelic presence. I want to thank her for her devotion to the animals." And that comes from somebody who absolutely adores and loves nature and adores and loves animals herself to an incredible extent and degree. And I know that because it's my mother.
Hi, Wendy.
So she's just having a hard time commenting on the other. But
so
just wanted to share that.
In the big picture, did you do your very best?
Yes.
And they have love, safety, nurture, and everything they need for the longest period of time that you can possibly give them.
Totally.
Is your best good enough?
It is good enough.
How about that?
It's awesome.
And all the animals, I know you've lost several animals because we've talked over the last couple of years about some other losses that you've struggled with. So as they look down, because we believe that, right? We've talked about that before. We have that belief. As they look down, do you think with all that you offered them that they wouldn't have had, that they want to see your sadness, or that they want you to know that they loved you too?
They want to know that I love them too.
And no, that's not what I said.
That they love me too.
And if they loved you too, do you think that's because they have gratitude?
Yes.
Have you ever seen them look at you with gratitude?
Totally.
Have you ever seen them look at you and genuinely love you?
Totally.
Have you ever seen that look in their eyes that says, put your hand up on the table for me. Is it okay if I touch your hand?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen them look at you and you know that they're thanking you from their eyes and their heart?
Absolutely.
I want you to bring up a time that happened. Bring up when you knew that you were saving them. Just allow it to come right up. Can you remember a time? You don't have to tell me about it, but can you remember a time?
Yeah.
Can you remember a time? Bring up what that felt like when they looked in your eyes and you knew that you were their only savior and that you were giving them the only thing nobody else would. Do you remember a time like that?
Totally.
When they really looked at you? Do you? Okay. So I'm sorry that you lost the pet. It must be said. Do anybody smell popcorn? I smell popcorn. Anybody smell popcorn? No? Okay, put your hand back up there.
Okay.
I didn't say put your hand back up there. Put your hand back up there.
I think we've lost probably 19 animals in the 19 or 20 years. So it's probably one a year that we lose. And
is it just as devastating every time?
I think I go through like, timing. If I would have done this sooner, then
what voice do you hear in your head as you're saying that to me right now?
It's not my voice, actually, which is weird.
Okay, whose voice is it?
It's somebody from the past.
Is it?
Yes.
That person from the past help you do what you do?
No.
They don't work the sanctuary?
No.
Would they put all the effort into the sanctuary that you did?
No.
Why are they so special that they get to judge how hard you work and how important your work is and if you did enough or not, if they wouldn't even sacrifice to do it? Why is that important for them? What's their value above yours?
I don't believe there is.
Oh. Do you want to quit listening to them?
Yes.
Okay. Do you give yourself permission to release that belief and from your unconscious mind and for your conscious mind to be aware of it?
Yes.
Okay. So every time you hear that voice, what might you feel instead?
Gratitude and smiles and
Can you see those smiles right now? Can you see
Totally.
those eyes saying thank you? Can you? Okay. How about that? How about that? Wonder if your best is enough. Is your best genuine?
totally.
Is it? Do you do your best with complete integrity?
Yes.
If you knew of something more that you could do, would you ignore it?
No.
Okay. Does that voice pop back into your head that says you should?
It didn't.
It didn't. How come?
It's not there.
What's there now?
Love, and you did enough.
Okay.
And even that voice is changed to say, I admire what you do.
Oh, how about that? Okay. I want you to know that I did something sneaky without you knowing it. Okay. If you notice I kept pressing your knuckle
Yeah.
each time you felt that, when that voice starts to come back, because sometimes they sneak back in, little bastards. Okay? Sometimes they sneak back in. I want you to do exactly what I did, and I want you to push on the knuckle.
Okay.
Because now your memory synapses,
Okay.
your nerve synapses, is associating. As I was pressing it, as you were bringing up that feeling and feeling that feeling. Now every time you press that knuckle,
Right.
it's going to make that voice go away, and you're going to go back to that feeling and remind yourself of it. Because we all need reminded. We all need reminded. Okay. And whoever that voice was in your head, which you don't need to share, isn't it weird that it sat there? Do you want to tell your age? You don't have to.
I just turned 60.
Okay, so you just turned 60. Oh my God, she works 17 hours a day and does massage. And no wonder she slacked and watched a DVD one day. Jesus, I can see why you had to. Now,
Yeah, what are you drinking, by the way? I tell me, I'll get some of that. So
okay. So how old were you when that voice came into your head? You know who it is. You don't tell me who it is. How old were you when that voice came into your head?
Oh, very, very young.
Can you guess? Remember how old it was?
I think it's probably between 2 and 4 years of age.
Holy shit. So 57 years, that person's been more important than you. How silly. Doesn't that seem silly now?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
And they're not working 17 hours a day.
No, they are. No, they're not.
And they're not offering the last breath of life to a bunch of animals that people were cruel to be surrounded with love and care. They're not doing that?
No.
Huh. Their voice very important anymore?
No.
And anytime you think about that, what do you think you might feel instead?
Love and gratitude. Smiles.
Can you see smiles? Can you see the animals smiling in your eyes? Okay.
Hugs.
Okay. So in the future, might your best be good enough?
Yes.
Is your best genuine?
Yes.
Is it always genuine?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
So anytime that voice starts to come back, push on that knuckle.
Okay.
Your brain synapses is now going to feel that feeling.
Thank you.
It actually changes the neurology
Wow.
of how we think and how we feel.
Wow.
Okay, so that's your reminder. It's called an anchor, but that's your reminder. So when you start to feel that feeling, nobody else knows what you're doing. That's why I do hands. It's funny because I always use hands for anchors. Do I have time to yep or no? What time is it?
You got 11 minutes.
I use hands for anchors because we always have our hands, right? If I say that necklace, and use that, then all of a sudden, you don't have your necklace on, so you're screwed, right? That's the way it is. And the other thing is that you can be standing there, and when other people don't need to know about your emotions. I just like to get in people's heads. But other people don't need to know about your emotions, but you can always stand there and you can push your knuckle when you're starting to have that mind talk go, and nobody would know what you're doing.
Okay.
And you're going to remember those smiles. And every time you push that knuckle,
Yeah.
you're going to see those eyes that look at you in gratitude.
Totally.
Those eyes that remind you and say, thank you for letting my last breaths, no matter how short or how long they should be filled with love.
Yeah. That's awesome.
rather than what I had learned. And all you'll have to do is push that knuckle, and you're going to see those eyes. They're going to come so easy. You can even try not to see them at this point, but once you push the knuckle, you're going to see those eyes, and those eyes are going to show you. And it's going to be all those eyes saying, thank you for letting my last breath be with love, whether it was an hour after I came here or whether it was a year after I came here. Either way, the last breath was with love. Who wouldn't want that?
I would want that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And any voice that says otherwise, I want to know where their 17 hours a day is. I want to know where their tears are. I want to know when they're up in the middle of the night. And I know for a fact you change diapers on dogs, you put carts on dogs, you feed, you give medicine to these animals, you do absolutely everything. So when that voice pops up in your head criticizing how you're doing it, where's their 17 hours a day? Because you do all this. Do you do all this to please all those people that tell you don't do enough? Or do you do it?
No, I do it for the animals.
You do?
Yes.
So you do it for those eyes that look at you with
Yeah.
gratitude that you get to give their last breath?
Absolutely.
Their last breath filled with love?
Yes.
Huh. You should really work harder.
Okay. I'll try.
You know that's sarcastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just trying to.
So is your best good enough?
Yes.
Will it always be good enough?
Yes.
Why will it always be good enough?
Because I'm genuine, I'm trying, and I gave it my best, and it's about the love. And
What would any human, any animal, or even God ask of you more than your very best? With true intent and love. What could possibly be asked more of you?
there is nothing else.
And did you do that genuinely, or did you bullshit us because we're on the radio?
Oh no, genuinely.
Yeah, I know. I can feel it with your tears. So I'm going to ask you one more time to remember. What would any human being, any animal, or God even ask of more of you?
Nothing.
What better way would there be to pass besides with love? Would you rather live a minute with love or a year in harm?
A minute with love.
Okay. And all those voices that tell you you should have done more, where are they?
I'm not hearing them.
Push your knuckle. What do you see?
I see a horse hugging me and smiling.
Why?
Gratitude and thankfulness.
Because they would have what?
They would not have had it if they didn't cross our path.
They wouldn't have had what?
The love and care, safety.
So I ask one more time, would you rather have love for 1 minute or a year of torture?
Love for 1 minute.
What do you offer?
Love for a lifetime.
Regardless of how long that lifetime is?
Yes.
Is that love genuine?
Yes.
Is that integrity genuine?
Yes.
Those animals know it?
Yes.
Do they feel it?
Yes.
Is it their last breath?
Yes.
Will your best always be good enough?
Yes.
You okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Do I have any questions that I bypassed or missed?
No, everybody is just in complete and total support of your guest here. They just are thrilled with you and everything you've done for the animals and everything you've done to help them. So
If anybody would
think
literally
you
like
should
to
be-
support, please contact Stardust Animal Sanctuary in Richmond, Illinois
Yep.
to offer that.
start. And how do they find? By the way, I just think if I were in your shoes, I'd be feeling pretty darn good right now. But Stardust Animal Sanctuary?
Yes.
And what is your phone number, or how do they contact you there?
They can email us. Our phone number is 224-325-4188.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Area code 224-325-4188.
All right. And how would they email you?
They can email me directly. My name is Lori Kay, and that's spelled LaurieKay at stardustsanctuary.org.
Sanctuary.org.
And she's also on Facebook under Stardust Sanctuary. And I know you do, and we got a couple minutes, right?
Yeah,
I know you
a
do
few
something that I think is so cool. And truthfully, there's very few people who wouldn't be able to help. So you do like $5 Friday or something?
Yes.
To explain what $5 Friday is.
It's just if anyone has an extra $5 that they want to donate on Friday, a little bit adds up. Thank you. It wasn't my idea, but it was one of our volunteers and other sanctuaries do it, so we tried it, and it is a lot of fun, and it does add up. Every little bit counts.
Makes a difference.
It sure does.
And I know you also have a thing where you can sponsor an animal, right?
Yes, we do.
So like my goose, I'm sure somebody has sponsored my goose,
I
right?
don't know if anyone sponsored Sweetheart yet. I think there was a 2 months Sweetheart sponsorship. So
Okay.
I think he's available.
And it's just an example. Like if somebody wanted to sponsor Sweetheart, Hugh Hefner, I'm going to call him from now on. But if anybody wanted to sponsor Sweetheart, what would it be?
$10 a month.
So for $120, somebody could sponsor Sweetheart for a whole year. And tell, what does sponsoring mean?
That pays for their bedding, their food, medical care, and just their life at the sanctuary.
And if they were a woman who really liked being nuzzled by the goose and they wanted to donate more to sponsor, you don't turn that away, right?
No.
So if somebody said, I want to give $500 for Sweetheart, then you wouldn't go, oh no, it's only $120. Right?
No.
Okay. You would do that. I'm just checking. I want to make sure that everybody out there. And I wish that all of you met Sweetheart because you'd know exactly why I'm pushing for somebody to sponsor Sweetheart, because seriously, he is the Hugh Hefner of geese.
Yes, he's beautiful.
Literally, he rubs his head on you, nuzzling you, demanding that you pet him.
And he protects the rest of the flock. I mean, when we were picking up the birds to bring them into the house, he was just, his wings were going like, "What are you doing?
Don't hurt my babies. Those are my
Yeah.
those are my chicks, no pun
Yeah.
intended, right?
Totally.
Leave them be. How are you feeling?
Lighter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. You should always feel that.
That's awesome.
And anytime that you're not, I want you to go right back to this space and this moment, and you can push that knuckle.
Okay.
And remember the eyes that look at you in gratitude. And always remember, what greater gift can anyone offer in this world besides true integrity? Their very best and genuine love. Right?
Right.
Okay. So you did everything you could do. You will always do everything you can do because it's who you are. Those voices from a long, long time ago, they don't matter.
Why do we have those voices from a long time ago?
Because, well, see, then we'd have to get into a whole big...
I thought I made it up.
You got 3 minutes.
Because
Knock it out
from
of the
birth
park. There
until
you go.
8 or 9 years old, we're sponges and we're absorbing everything around us, and we are determining what's right, wrong, feels good, doesn't feel good, who we are, how we feel about ourselves based on the people around us, which are who we trust and love, right?
Totally.
So we've absorbed all those things, and it's kind of why I went into what I went into, because I had met people who were really struggling with things that they had been told, and talk therapy alone wasn't helping. And so I was searching for the answers, and that's what got me into the hypnotherapy. And then the hypnotherapy made me interested in the EFT, and then the EFT made me interested in the neurolinguistic programming, which, for the record, that's kind of what we did today.
Oh, okay.
Because believe it or not, this is a therapy technique, not just Lisa being nosy. And It changes the neurology. And this is part of the neurolinguistic programming, is to just reframe how we see something. Because when something's in our unconscious, we get locked into a belief system, right? And you had a belief system that you weren't good enough, that it was instilled in you when you were 2 or 3.
Right.
That you recall,
And it
right?
wasn't that person's fault either.
No, they have their own garbage, right? We don't worry about other people. They have their own garbage. But our unconscious doesn't know that at the moment.
Oh,
right?
Right.
So the little 2 or 3 year old girl in you is still saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, based on somebody else's opinion. And so what happens is we attach that to so many things in life, and we can't see outside that framework, that framework that God put in us. So all we did today, this type of a therapy, so to speak, is to reframe that, bust the frame, and reframe what that looks like. But if I had just told you to think that, you'd say, whatever, people say nice shit to me all the time, they're just being nice, right?
Okay.
Because that's what we do. When people give us a compliment but we don't really feel it, they have to say that. That's how we feel, right? It's the first thing that comes to our head. But if we can break through that to where you see it for yourself, I didn't tell you to see what happened when you were 2 or 3. Your unconscious allowed it. Your unconscious showed you where that voice was coming from and what those things were coming from. And once we can bring that up to the surface, it disappears. Because darkness disappears in the light, right?
Right.
So we bring it to the surface. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lori. I know this was scary for you.
Totally.
Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Pete's giving me the signal over there that I need to shush. So.
Yeah, we're out of time, but it was a wonderful episode. Everybody's so thankful for you, Lori and Lisa. You're getting comments about how brightly you've shined today and how much you've helped Lori, and they're thankful for you as
They
well.
just like to see me cry in the air.
Yeah, that's true. It's entertaining for all of us. All right. Until next week at 9 a.m., this has been Lisa's Changing Perceptions on 216 The Net Real Life Internet Radio. We're here for you.